Monster3 here, and I'm back again with a new video. And in this video I'm actually going to talk about the top 10 worst movies that I've seen in my collection and that I just want to get rid of. Yeah, and I can say immediately that I'm not going to include Thanksgiving, because I actually think that's a pretty funny movie. It's so extremely bad that it's fun, so I actually enjoy that movie in some places, so I'm not going to include that movie. But here we go with number 10, and the first, number 10 is The Howling 2, and I can say the only positive thing about this movie is Christopher Lee. And probably some small sequences in the movie, but overall it's a really bad movie, and I was very disappointed because it's actually a movie from the 80s, and I always love all the movies from the 80s, but this was just a piece of shit in my opinion. So there were still some places that were good, but overall a really bad movie. So yeah, The Howling 2, not recommended at all. And number 9 is a movie that I was hoping for a really good and nice and entertaining movie, but was just a piece of shit, and that is Hack. William Forsythe from The Devil's Rejects. What the hell does he do in this movie? He was really bad in this movie. He couldn't save the movie from being bad. And it's about like some college kids, or like in a class that are like traveling to an island, and I was thinking like, oh, and a whole class, it's probably 20 people, but it was just like 5 people or something like that, or even less. And oh my god, I was hoping for a really nice like slashing movie, but the kills were all really lame, and the acting was terrible, and the plot was terrible, and the environment and everything. And the dialogue, oh my god, so extremely bad. And I can say that it was a little bit better in the end of the movie, but overall a really bad movie, Hack. And next is a movie that is called How to Make a Monster. It should be called How to Make a Really Fucking Bad Movie, because the special effects in this movie was absolutely terrible, and the acting and the plot, and it was just so extremely boring. I don't have anything else to say about it, because it's really bad. So do never see this movie. How to Make a Really Bad Movie, How to Make a Monster. And number 7 is a movie that is probably have the worst special effects that I've seen in almost any movie, and it's even worse than in How to Make a Monster, and that is Attack of the Saber-Tooth. And the reason why it's just number 7 is because it's pretty funny at some parts, because it's really bad. And the saber-tooth itself is very bad, and there's a scene where you can just search on Attack of the Saber-Tooth on YouTube, and you can find a scene where one guy is like getting this animated tooth right through his throat and all that, so or his mouth or something like that. But it's so extremely bad. It looks like it's some kind of old Nintendo game that were put into this movie. Like, I can't even explain it, but it's a really bad movie, and you can look it up on the movie database. I think it just got like 2.5 or something like that on the movie database. So yeah, Attack of the Saber-Tooth, really bad movie. And number 6 is a movie that I was hoping for that it was going to be a really bad movie, really good movie, sorry, and that was Venom. And no, it's not Venom from Spider-Man. I know very many people thought that from the beginning, but I was hoping for like a movie like I Know What You Did Last Summer or something like that. Probably some of the killing scenes was acceptable, but overall it was a very bad movie, and stupid actors. I don't even want to say anything more about this movie because it's really bad. So Venom, yeah, never see that movie. And number 5 is a movie that I was hoping for being like. I hoped that it was going to be like a Saw movie or like a Cube movie, like it's some kind of claustrophobic. And I was Devil. And I know some people actually really love this movie, but oh my god, I was not a big fan of it. Of this movie, I hated it. I hated the acting, and the only thing that was probably positive with this was like you had to think a little bit about who is the killer, and because they were like in an elevator through the whole movie, but it was just so boring. I can't even explain why anymore, but Devil threw that piece of shit away. Number 4 is a movie that I think it's some kind of remake or anything, but yeah, it's Jekyll plus Hyde, and I was expecting a really nice movie when I read a little bit about it, about this guy who became both the Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and yeah, all that. And you can see at the back, I'm sure now, right there, it's like very gory and all that. I thought like, oh my god, it's going to be a really nice movie and with a lot of killing sprees or something like that. But it was overall, it was actually not really anything wrong with the thing that I really didn't like with this movie was that it never actually happened anything. I was almost falling asleep almost every time, and I actually had to pause this movie for like very many moments because I was so extremely bored, and I almost never do that when I watch a movie, but I just couldn't handle this movie at all. So Jekyll plus Hyde, number 4. Number 3 is a movie that probably you think like, oh my god, this movie should be number 1, but it isn't, because there's still, I can't really say why I just put it on number 3, and that's probably because number 2 and number 1 is extremely bad. But number 3 is the Ginger Dead Man, and I haven't seen the second one. I've seen the first one, and I know some people think the second one is better, but so I'm still going to watch that movie. But the first one, seriously, the acting was terrible, and the environment was terrible, and they were so stupid characters, and like the camera thing, it was like that all the time in the like. It wasn't straight, like if you see me like now, you see me like through, like straight through me, but this was like something like this or something like that through the whole movie. The camera was extremely fucked up and screwed up and all that, so yeah. The Ginger Dead Man. Ugh. Extremely bad. Nothing else to say. And number 2, we are coming to a spider. What kind of spider? It looks like a really big mess. And the acting, and it was barely I could sit through the whole movie. And the movie is called 8 Legs, and the original title is Arachnid. What the hell? This is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I don't want to say anything more about it because it's so extremely bad. So no, anything more, nothing more. Arachnid, really bad movie. And finally, we come to number 1. Oh my fucking god, this is so extremely bad that you can't even imagine, and I'm ashamed that I even have this movie in my list, in my list, in my collection. And I'm so embarrassed that I have this movie, that I even hide this movie, so I know no one of my friends will ever find it in my collection, because I'm like hiding it behind all the other movies. And it's a Swedish horror movie, and I'm Swedish, and I can say I speak better English than these goddamn stupid people in this movie, and that is Camp Slaughter. Ooh. Holy shit. The acting, terrible, the plot is terrible, the environment is terrible, stupid characters, stupid language, because you can't even hear anything. Like, if you're a British guy or an American, you will not understand the shit about this, because they're trying to speak English but it doesn't go very well. So they should have stick to the Swedish, because they can't even speak English. And the killer, it looks like like a fat retard with a fucking with a bag on his head, and he's called the Bunny Man for some kind of weird reason. And the killing scenes are absolutely terrible, and there's fake laughter and fake, like, you can see that it's really bad, and I hate this movie so extremely much, so I will just throw this goddamn movie away. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, even though these are really bad movies that I like showed you. And sorry for my bad English in some parts, but I hope you enjoyed anyways, and I hope to see you again as soon as possible. So see you next time. Bye bye.